Yeah, if they started blaming the Texas flood on black people.
What you are not being told by the media anywhere is that the death toll likely would not have been as high if it wasn't for DEI.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel once again. My name is Dash Lifestyle. Kindly for watching for the first time, remember to subscribe, like, share and also comment. So guys, on July 9, 2025, Charles Kirk claimed on the Charles Kirk show that the high death toll 119 plus killed, 160 missing in the Texas high country floods was because of DEI. Specifically because Austin's fire chief Joel G. Baker was hired under diversity, equity, and inclusion policy. Kirk accused Chief Baker, a black man and Austin's first black fire chief, of lacking competence, even suggesting he didn't quite comprehended the idea of reimbursement and called him moron due to his hiring under DEI. So Charles Kirk put all claim to Joel G. Baker because he's a black man, and this sparked a lot of reactions. So kindly guys, I want you to watch these reactions, then I'll be back with more comment. I'm your host Dash Lifestyle. All credit goes to the original creator of the video.
Y'all not gonna believe what I'm about to tell y'all. If they started blaming the Texas flood on black people. Look at this.
What you are not being told by the media anywhere is that the death toll likely would not have been as high if it wasn't for DEI. This Texas tragedy is just the latest example.
Of all the Maga people out here, Charlie Kirk is probably the dumbest. And this dude keeps on bragging about not going to college. You should have gone to college. You should have, because you are dumb as a motherfucker. Blaming a natural disaster on black people is wild. That's God's work. God is doing that. Does that mean that Charlie Kirk believes that God is a person of color? Because you blaming a natural disaster on black people, does that mean that you believe that God is a person of color? I'll take that.
What you are not being told by the media anywhere is that the death toll likely would not have been as high if it wasn't for DEI.
There's Charlie Kirk making yet another one of his patented despicable arguments. This time it's that the death toll in Central Texas would be lower from that flooding on July 4th if the fire chief in Austin wasn't black. Yeah, you heard him. He blames it all on DEI, but he never really makes that argument. Instead, it's about the race of the fire chief. And normally, I don't like to give oxygen to these kinds of trashy arguments, but I also think you've got to stand up and call out blatant racism when you see it. And to me, this is a perfect example. So Charlie's entire premise rests on the idea that this fire chief, who's been in office since 2018, didn't deploy enough resources ahead of time to allow Austin firefighters to go be part of the search and rescue efforts outside Kerrville. Now, there are some complicated issues going on here with reimbursements from the state for those kinds of deployments, and also not knowing if they needed to keep those firefighters back in case the storm continued to cause issues in Austin. But it is worth noting that the city of Austin's mayor said he talked to state officials who told him that Austin went above and beyond with the resources it provided. Ultimately, though, I don't know all the ins and outs of this argument. I'm not intimately affiliated with what's going on with the Austin Fire Department, and I can guarantee you Charlie Kirk isn't either. Now, notice there was no mention from Charlie on warning sirens or whether state or local officials did their job there. Instead, he sees a black fire chief, and all of a sudden it is DEI rearing its ugly head, according to Charlie. No mention of that fire chief's 30 years of service in Atlanta, where he was chief of Atlanta Fire Rescue, or his master's degree, or that he graduated from Harvard's state and local government program. Instead, Charlie makes the assertion that some of those poor girls at Camp Mystic would still be alive today if only, say, the Austin fire chief weren't black. Absolutely despicable. Maybe you saw Texas Governor Abbott talk about the people who are trying to point fingers right now, trying to assign blame during this tragedy at the moment. And he got in hot water for calling those people losers. But maybe when it comes to Charlie Kirk, he was right.
100 people that have died in Texas Hill Country. What you are not being told by the media anywhere is that the death toll likely would not have been as high if it wasn't for DEI.
Lock in, fuck niggas. We about to fact check this shit. First, if you fuck with me, make sure you hit that follow button. Let's get it. What the hell did he just say? How can you blame DEI for what happened in Texas if the governor of Texas banned DEI? Mind you, Donald Trump created an executive order banning DEI initiatives, and Texas, a red state, have no problem enforcing that executive order. I mean, if you really want to point fingers on the people who actually is at fault here, it'd be white men. The senator of Texas, Ted Cruz, was in Greece during the flood. What makes this bad is this man is the chairman of the Conference of Science and Transportation. His job is literally to oversee certain things, and weather is one of them. So a chairman for the committee that oversees certain things like weather was vacationing in Greece while his state, Texas, was being flooded. The Texas State Senate literally voted not to advance their weather system. And one of the representatives from Kirk County who got the flood the worst is defending why he voted no. One of the main reasons why this flood was so deadly was because how dangerous it got so quickly. And that's because of climate change. And Donald Trump and his goons actually put a bill that's going to worsen climate change. Not to mention that Donald Trump is now making the National Weather Service run with 600 people when originally they had 4,000 people. And the crazy thing is, I can keep going. I could point out all the problems that happened during this flood, but none of them is going to lead to freaking DEI.
Oh my hopefully existing God. You know what? It's not even worth me talking about. Don't really answer this one, guys. This is a rhetorical question, but what's stopping me right now from getting up from where I am and going and finding Charlie Kirk and publicly turning his life into an asteroid field? No, because, hear me out, I think he's ungrateful. This is a guy who, while preaching about America being terrible, he quite literally has the American dream. A good-looking wife, 2 kids, both a boy and a girl, both sides. All the money in the world for doing basically nothing but saying his opinions. And yet, he is still unhappy. And the thing is, you say you've been funded by tons of conservative donors. That's wonderful. Only problem is, your entire salary comes from people who are so afraid of becoming obsolete that they will halt progress. And the thing is, where do you get off saying, oh, black people get everything? You get paid to be a professional bigot. That's it. That's all. Like, there's no knowledge basis for that. There's nothing. You get paid to be a professional bigot. And the thing is, maybe, just maybe, if this were 1955, that would make a little bit more sense. But I don't see Marty coming in with a DeLorean anytime soon. You know, it's funny. You remind me a lot of, what's her name? Emily Wilson, another uneducated conservative mouthpiece who went nowhere after high school. So one day she was approached by the Hateful Collective, probably like you were, and they were like, hey, you want to make some money by going and saying the things that we believe? You look like the type of person that would be the perfect representative for us. And you accepted, didn't you? In your case, you know, you're 6'4". You probably got told real quick, yeah, basketball and football, that's not going to cut it for you. You're not it. You know what I see when I look at people like you and Emily Wilson, Chuck? A bunch of weak-minded, uneducated, replaceable, useless life forms. Life forms who have turned to being the model for bigotry and hatred because they weren't going to amount to anything else otherwise. And you stand there and blame us. Fine, I blame you. We're still here getting those opportunities because the only thing that you truly outpace us in is racism. And y'all can break out all the systemic statistics you want in response to this, but strip all that away, base form, I'm beating your ass. And that's a fact.
The Democrats are so despicable. The Democrats are not lifting a finger to remember the well over 100 people that have died in Texas Hill Country. What you are not being told by the media anywhere is that the death toll likely would not have been as high if it wasn't for DEI.
Brother, this is Texas. Did he think that this was California? What does he mean when he says DEI? Is he talking about divert environmental investment? DEI, divert everything to Israel? This kind of commentary also is a direct consequence of people getting dumber and dumber year over year, where like he doesn't even need to make an argument. Have you noticed that there is no argument being made here? There is no correlation. There's not even a correlation. You can't even say like correlation does not mean causation. At least back in the day, they used to point to something. They would do false equivalencies. They would do like silly ways of implementing logical fallacies to make a somewhat of a convincing argument. Now it's just catchphrases, man. This is DEI. DEI is the reason why this is as bad as it is. And also because woke DEI in the state of Texas. The fact of the matter is that if there was a flood emergency siren system implemented in Kirk County that they knew since 2016, people still probably would have died, but the numbers would not be as severe. There would be more people that would have survived this disaster. It's that simple. And as climate change worsens, doesn't matter if you think it's fucking woke, doesn't matter if you think it's a Chinese conspiracy or not, there are tangible and immediate impacts, like these insane flash floods, like the wildfires that rip through California. You have to deal with that. It's crazy on the one hand to just go, nah, it's not real, it's fake. And then also not even try to build a proper warning system that will save people's lives in the very likely event that these things happen, that we know will happen with greater frequency and greater magnitude. It's also extra crazy on top of that to defund the recovery and relief part of this too. And we're doing it all. It's not like we are oblivious. It's not like we don't have scientists that are actively ringing the alarm bells with regular frequency. We do. We have these things. We've had these things for decades. People have been screaming about this exact moment for like 30 years. And every step of the way we've gone, lol, that's just weather, stupid.
Trump administration policies led to people not being rescued in Texas, and instead, their bodies are now being recovered. Let me explain. According to new reporting by CNN, in June, Kristi Noem signed a memo saying that all contracts over $100,000 had to be signed off by her personally. And when the floods ravaged Texas on early Friday morning, Kristi Noem wasn't at work. She was celebrating the 4th of July, but a memo landed in her inbox to authorize search and rescue teams to go in to the flood-ravaged portions of Texas and help find people and rescue them. For 72 hours, that memo sat in her inbox unread, not addressed, not signed, means for 3 days, people that could have been rescued instead died. Kristi Noem is directly responsible for potentially hundreds of people dying because she failed to do her job. And on top of that, she still hasn't signed a contract that would have allowed Texas state officials to use satellite data to help find victims, help recover their bodies, or help recover or rescue them. Kristi Noem is directly responsible for this. The Trump administration is directly responsible for this because of their continued failed policies. Kristi Noem helped kill people.
Charlie Kirk said that the death toll from the catastrophic Texas floods was the result of DEI. According to the undergreed Charlie Kirk, people died in Texas not because of historic rainfall, crumbling infrastructure, or a failed government response, but because of black people. Sir, you dropped out of community. You dropped out of community college. You literally went through all of the people that served in the response to what happened with the Guadalupe River, and you identified the one black leader there and said that he was the reason that people died. Let's stop pretending that this is about policy. This is about projection. Gums and teeth is part of a movement that can accept that black and brown people deserve to lead, to manage, to govern, because when we do, we expose just how shallow, scared, and unserious these types of ignorant, racist grievances really are. The Texas flooding is a tragedy. It is one of the greatest tragedies that we have seen in 2025. People lost homes, family lost loved ones, and instead of offering empathy or solutions, gums and teeth is blaming inclusion. Baby, the only thing that DEI is drowning out is this man's credibility. And let's be honest, it was already underwater.
Charlie Kirk really thought he could out-debate Cambridge. The delusion is diagnosable. But this is exactly what I mean when I talk about mediocre people being loud as hell. They stay bold, they stay confident, and they stay wrong. And the funniest part, it's always people like Charlie Kirk, because they hang around people that are too uninformed or too afraid to challenge them. So when they step outside of that echo chamber and they're actually around somebody that knows what they're talking about, you know, like somebody educated at Cambridge University, they get intellectually folded like a fitted sheet, beloved. But I know you're wondering, what makes them even try this in the first place? Envy, baby. See, people like Charlie Kirk don't think people at Cambridge deserve to be called smart. Why? Because smart doesn't look like them, or talk like them, or even agree with them. But that's the root of it. Envy, insecurity, fragile ego, wrapped up in a loud-ass voice. See, Charlie Kirk thought he was ready for a varsity match, but he didn't realize he's been playing with toddlers the entire time. And he's mad that Cambridge used real facts and logic instead of TikTok talking points. It's giving the whole, you can't bully your way through a debate when your opposition actually has books in their home. If you're tired of the fragile frauds cosplaying as intellectuals, drop something in the comments. Let's talk about it.
Kirk, you should be absolutely ashamed of yourself for claiming that Fire Chief Joel G. Baker's response to the Kerr flood in Texas was caused by a DEI hire just because the chief is black. You are so blatantly racist, it's sickening. Let me break down the level of knowledge and experience that Fire Chief Baker has. Okay? Buckle up because it's long. He has a Bachelor of Science in Human Resources Development from Georgia State University, a Master's in Public Administrations, specifically Justice Admin from Columbus State University. He served in the Marine Corps for 3 years and received an honorable discharge. He served in the United States Navy Reserve for 11 years, earning the 1999 Sailor of the Year. He was a firefighter for 8 years before being promoted to fire lieutenant for another 8 years, before being promoted to fire captain special operation unit for 2 years. He then went on to become assistant chief for a year before becoming section chief for a year, before becoming interim fire chief for a year. He then became deputy fire chief, chief of staff for 2 years, deputy fire chief airport operations for 2 years, interim fire chief for a little less than a year before finally becoming fire chief since June of 2015. He has experienced in all phases of fire services and emergency management, firefighting operations, emergency medical services, hazardous materials, technical rescue, recruiting, EEOC and internal affairs, research and development, performance, evaluation and administration, homeland security, emergency preparedness, strategic planning, and budgeting and training. Beyond his on-the-job experience and education, he has a litany of certifications, continuing education, awards, presentations, and publications. So tell me again how he's unqualified or even considered a DEI hire? Get out of here with that. You're full of it. Charlie Kirk,
Y'all, I just heard Charlie Kirk get on here and say that DEI play a role in the death toll with the people in the Texas flood. Man, what are we talking about, bruh? What are you talking about? Like, that's exactly why I get on here and tell y'all I will never identify with no group at all, bro, because of that exact reason right there. Because whenever you identify with a group and you feel as if you really have to defend what it is that you identify with, you will say anything in the world to try to make sense of it. Bro, there is no making sense of what that man just said, bro. I don't care what he say. There is nothing that's gonna make sense. Dude, this was a natural disaster that happened to be bad, bro. That took some people's lives. Like, we shouldn't even be bringing politics into this, bruh. Y'all talking about everything that don't matter. Y'all talking about politics. Y'all talking about race. Bruh, this is a flood that just happened to have some innocent people. Who cares what color the kids was, bruh? That's what I be saying, bro. Like, y'all be getting on here talking about stuff that don't even matter. Like, just call it what it is. This is a natural disaster that went bad and some people lost their life. This is something tragic. Y'all on here just be soulless and just ignorant, bruh.
The Democrats are so despicable. The Democrats are not lifting a finger to remember the well over 100 people that have died in Texas Hill Country. What you are not being told by the media anywhere is that the death toll likely would not have been as high if it wasn't for DEI. This Texas tragedy is just the latest example. It's not just incompetence. This is DEI working to undermine meritocratic institutions, and more people likely died than otherwise would have because of DEI.
Charlie Kirk is a disgrace to the United States, and anybody who thinks that this is because of DEI, I need you to slap the shit out of yourself. He is so fucking stupid. Oh my God. Jesus can't even take the wheel with this one. I can't.
If Charlie Kirk can blame DEI on the tragedy in Texas, then we can point out the legitimate reality of what happens when you cut the National Weather Service and a natural disaster occurs. Because without citing any data or any sources, Charlie Kirk is claiming that the death toll in Texas would have been lower had it not been for DEI. He is blaming DEI for the death toll in Texas being so high, when the legitimate reality is that FEMA has been cut all year, is that the National Weather Service was decimated, was completely cut, and that the Department of Homeland Security, which is what funds FEMA, ran out of money months ago because Kristi Noem and the rest of the Department of Homeland Security spent all their money on ICE and immigration. And so now that Texas has had a natural disaster, the federal government doesn't even have the money to help. So Charlie Kirk is trying to blame DEI for something that legitimately happened because the federal government ran out of money because of how they mismanaged their funds. If you want to place blame on the Texas tragedy, on a natural disaster, place it at our National Weather Service. And we need to fund the preventative, the things that we don't see. We love seeing the response to natural disasters, firefighters, but we don't see the people who are trying to prevent, the meteorologists, people who are actually doing the work, the unseen work. Those are the people. And instead, people like Charlie Kirk are blaming DEI instead of recognizing the reality that making cuts to the National Weather Service is extremely harmful and even deadly to our country.
So guys, I hope you have watched and listened to some of the reactions from Americans coming out and sharing their views to according to what Charlie Kirk he's saying is putting all blame to DEI Becca, because he feels like the more death that happen in during the floods, it is because of the is because of DEI, and Becca didn't quickly respond. But we have seen DEI coming out and say the reasons to why they delayed. It is because of the emergency. It is because of the emergency response failure and flood death. However, local officials, including the city fire chief, mayor, union, and city council, says the delay were due to coordination, timing, and resource allocation. So this is now the reasons to why they experience there was more deaths. You have seen it is because of the coordination, timing, and resources allocation issue, not DEI. So I want to tell Charlie Becca that he needs not to start blaming Becca, because Becca, we know Becca is a black man, and we have been seeing how the black people, they are being treated in America. So also guys, before commenting so far, you can also comment down below and share your views. What do you think about this episode? Is it right for Charlie Kirk to come out and put all blame to Becca? Because we have been seeing Charlie Kirk coming out and really attacking Becca. But for me, it is all about race. It is because he has seen this man is a black man, and is the reasons to why there are more deaths in the during the flood. So for me, I can tell you that black people, they are not being given so much opportunity, and whenever they are being given opportunity, these people, they are always on their neck. Yeah, these people, they are always on their neck. So this is tell you that black people now is a black person now is being blamed because of the death. For me, I can tell you that this one needs now to end. I've seen majority of the black people coming out on the comment section, majority of the black people coming out and defend their fellow people, because we have been seeing some of the challenges and the struggle that the black people that are going through in the United States. We have been seeing how the criminal injustice, it is dealing with the black people in United States. Yeah, you can see how the criminal injustice, when a black person, he or she has committed a small mistake, he can't work for free. But for a white person, if he or she has committed a small mistake, he can walk out for free. And you can see now the system, it was all designed to put to put black man or below, but to put a white man on top. So anything which it is happening in America, even it is natural, because flood it is a natural disaster. It is not people who have planned it. No, it is an emergency and it is a natural disaster. So it is not Becca who has planned the flood, and it's not Becca that he has caused all these days. It is because of some of the delay of allocation of the resources. So this is not a blaming game. This now need to stop. And also these people, they need to know that they need also to give black people a chance to respect them, because if it was for a white person and this incident it has happened, would they also blame the white person? No, they won't blame a white person, because they have seen a black person is the head of the DEI. Now they are coming out and putting all blame. You can see this now, the game that these people, they have been playing. They are giving you opportunity and they still want to control you. This is how these people, they usually play. So for me, I can tell the black people it's now the right time to also defend your own people, because this needs to stop. This Charlie Kirk need to respect people, because I believe we are all human beings, and sometimes bad things happen, sometimes good things happen. You can imagine if he was in that office, what will he do? Because sometimes we are having like an earthquake. Whenever earthquake it comes, the people who are supposed to respond in the earthquake, so you can if there has been a lot of death, you can come out and blame the boss who deals with the earthquake emergency because he didn't inform people earlier. No, you can't. These are just a natural disaster. Yeah, so you cannot just come out and blame a black person because you have seen more people they have died. Yeah, because you have seen more people they have died, so you are now coming out and say that this death, it is all because of the DAI, it is because of Becca, because you have seen Becca is a black person. No, it is not all about race. This need to stop. You know, you guys, you have been putting all bad things to the black person, and that's why you have been painting also their country, Africa, black countries, a bad image. Yeah, you have been painting their country bad image. Whenever you are seeing a black person, you are seeing him or her like people who are not a good people in life. Whenever there's a crime which it is happening on the street, you usually suspect black person. So this tell you that black people, they are not also highly respected, and there is still that mentality that anything bad which is happening, it is because of the black person. No, that need to stop. So kindly guys, I don't want to talk too much. You can also share your views on the comment section. You can tell me what do you think about today's episode. even the mayor and the people, they have come out and say that they have come out and say it is not the fault of the DAI of the Baker. No, it is because of the allocation of the resources. Yeah, it is because of the timing. Yeah, so these people, they need to know that sometimes you need also to go and look for and search for the and do more research, so that you can see the reasons to why the DAI didn't quickly respond. You can also try to go and find out why. You don't just come out and say it is because of Baker, because you have seen is a black person. No, it is not usually like that. So kindly guys, subscribe if you haven't, like this video, share, and also comment. This video, it was for educational purposes, and share it with your friend. Let's meet on the other video. Bye bye.